Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I know it's early in California, and I know it also takes a little bit for people to kind of populate in. So excited to be here today. And Paul is here as well. He's off on the side, off camera. He'll probably pop in right now. He's been doing an amazing job setting up all the technology this morning, which is wonderful. And so again, we're just going to let people pop in. And this is the first of our World Peace Wednesdays. And in a minute, once we really get rolling, and I know this is actually going live on the Facebook feed, I'm going to be talking about why World Peace Wednesday? Why are we doing this? What's going on with this? And why now? So I'm just going to begin right now. I think we're live enough to really get started. And so once again, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. We will just by way of sort of technology piece of it, we are going to save this. So I had messages from people saying, oh, I really want to be here for this time and I can't, the timing's not right. It'll be saved on this page because I know a lot of people are getting ready for work, getting kids off to school, maybe driving to work. Please don't watch Facebook videos while you're driving. Not a good idea. So it will be archived on this Universal Sphere page. But so for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Holly Hawkins Marwood. And among many things, I am a channel. And what that means is I receive information from other realms or dimensions, meaning non-physical. You know, most of us receive information from the people and the world around us. And so I have been gifted with the ability to receive messages from lots of different, very high level information sources. And they've really given us incredible information, particularly over the last 11 years since 8 years, 9 years since I've been doing a lot more active channeling. And the information that's been shared has been so transformational in our lives. And so today in our first World Peace Wednesday, good morning, Jeanette. Thank you for being here. We appreciate your early morning start with us here. For World Peace Wednesdays, this was really guided to me by one of the non-physical guides named Ishtara. And she's been really talking to me a lot recently about what's going on in the world. And we have a lot going on in the world. And it can be very disturbing depending on how we look at it and our point of view around it. And the issue and the concern is that when it is so disturbing to us, what happens is we get disturbed. We get unsettled. We get off balance. We start judging ourselves. We start judging the world. And it really creates a place where we can be desiring peace in the world. We can be desiring a new experience, and we can point our fingers at world leaders, at organizations. We can, using plastic bags, we can point our fingers at all kinds of things. And yet what happens with all of it is we're actually really destabilized inside. So one of the things that Ishtara wants to share with everyone this morning is this idea that, and we know this, that peace really begins inside us. So one way that we can really feel empowered and potent in a really destabilized situation is to find that center of peace within us. And then literally we can emanate and radiate that out into the world. And as we do really affect change. If we have a greater peaceful inherent stance with ourselves, whether we're at work or pumping gas or taking care of our family, no matter what it is, we emanate that trust and that peace, because that's a lot of what peace is about. Inner peace, a lot of it is about trusting ourselves, trusting the world around us is going to work out the way it's supposed to, trusting our ability to navigate in uncertain times. So when we're not feeling peaceful, if we really dig down inside ourselves, There's something that's creating a sense of insecurity, and it all focuses down to fear. So we want to really do something with and for ourselves to create a stable inner environment, a stable place that we feel the peace, and we can then reassure ourselves in an inner game kind of way, as well as the world around us. So Ishtara, I'm going to be channeling Ishtara with a message this morning about peace. And for those of you who aren't familiar with Ishtara, as I mentioned before, she is a non-physical guide who has been working with me very intimately since the end of 2011. And she's been saying, I really want to get out there and I want to help people have a better experience of life. So she's really been pressing in on me around this. And so this is why we're here this morning. So she wants to share a message with everyone. And then I am going to do something called the universal sphere, which is something that she has taught us to do. We actually teach it to people all over the world, but we're going to be doing a group universal sphere for world peace. But we're going to start with an experience of bringing this universal sphere in for ourselves to create that peaceful, stable environment for ourselves first. And then we're going to expand that out to really encompass the world and see and feel and experience the world in a more stable, peaceful, loving environment. You know, the stuff that our dreams are made of, that we know is possible, even if we're not seeing evidence for it right now. So about the universal sphere today. Some of you may say, but I don't know what the universal sphere is. I don't know how to do it. So for those of you who are listening live, or those who are going to be listening later, the reality is you can follow along in two ways. If you know how to do the universal sphere, which many of you will, then you can follow along as Ishtara is guiding the universal sphere. If you don't know how to do the universal sphere, it's absolutely okay. We're so happy you're here. Literally bring yourself into a place of receiving and what the universal sphere has to offer. At this time today, we're not here to talk about what it is and all the wonderful things it does. You can reach out and talk to us about that. But today is all about receiving information and receiving energetic transmission and receiving this up-leveled infusion from the field of infinite possibilities, and bringing in solution energy in ways that we just haven't even ever imagined. So with that being said, as I channel, I am a conscious channel, which means that I, as Holly, am aware of what's being said and what's going on. And it just takes me a moment to drop in a little bit more deeply with Ishtara. So I will be quiet just for a moment. My eyes will be closed. And the reason for this isn't to make it look all magical and mystical because my eyes are closed. The reason is because I'm often shown a lot of images, and a lot of what I say is based on images that Ishtara is bringing into my awareness. So as I close my eyes, it's because I can receive the images better and be able to transmit them better. So with that being said, let's begin and see what Ishtara has in mind. Greetings, great beings of light. My name is Ishtara. And today is really an auspicious day in one regard, because today is a day to focus and realize that hope is still prevalent in the world. Hope is still possible in the world, despite evidence to the contrary. So it's very easy to look around the world these days and really focus on the things that are wrong. You could see political situations all over the world that are very disturbing and unsettling on many, many levels. And some of those levels are very primal, like when you have world leaders who are behaving in unexpected ways. It creates an insecurity in the fabric of consciousness because there are some givens that are not there anymore, almost as if the underlying assumptions are being questioned. And on some level they are, but that's another topic for another time. But for today, the idea is that while there is destabilization in many areas of the world, and not just political, there's social change that's happening. There is moral and cultural change that's happening. And as you move into the world and you look at this and you see it, it can create a lot of upset and it can create a lot of insecurity. And yet what changes the world is as we can hold ourselves at a higher level of trust and faith that, in a sense, the goodness will prevail. The higher order energies that you all are striving for, that you all vision, that you all know are possible, they are still there in the same field with you. So one of the things that's really important to do each and every day is notice how you are feeling inside. And really do a quick self-check-in every day. Am I feeling agitated? Am I feeling peaceful and calm and trusting and centered? And if I'm feeling agitated, if that feels like the predominant energy, what is motivating it? What's the catalyst for it? Is it something going on in my own life? Or is it because there are things going on in the world around me that are destabilizing me? Or am I feeling the energy of the people around me and the situations around me? Because the reality is there are many of us who are very, very sensitive to what's happening in the collective. And as we feel it in the collective, we feel it in our physical body and emotions and mind. And the reality is we then say, if I'm feeling it in my energetic space, it must be mine. And so as you discern, what am I feeling? And if it's an uncomfortable feeling, what's the source of it? When you do that, you have the opportunity, first and foremost, to say, oh, I understand. What I'm feeling is something that's in the collective. And you can observe it and then literally invite it out of your energy field so that you are not destabilized by it. It's like moving it a little bit away, giving it a little higher order perspective, giving it a little distance from you so that you are not saying what the collective is feeling is you. Now, of course, you are part of the collective, but part of this is discerning that line between what do you want to have actively in your experience and what do you want to be able to observe and maybe be in action about without you needing to take it on. Because that's a really important energetic stance in the world today. What are you responding to that you do not need to take on as yours? And you literally can feel that you move it away from you a little bit so that your resources are so filled up that you are so comfortable in and of yourself, you actually have the capacity to be a better contribution to those problems or those concerns that are in the collective. It's a very powerful place to be, and it's a very subtle shift that you can make in any given moment. And as you tune into what's going on in your energy field, if you wake up and you feel a little agitated or worried or upset and you can't figure out why, take that moment to say to yourself, am I really feeling this because I have something that's agitating me, or am I picking up on the collective consciousness, the general state of feeling unsettled in the world around me. And by the way, the world around you doesn't mean the entire world. Your world could include some uncomfortable things within your family. There could be some shifts and changes in your work environment, which are very significant to you because there you are for all those hours a day. So look at the different layers of what's going on and choose what you want to hold tight to you in your energetic field and in your life experience, because the words energetic field can sound very airy-fairy, right? And very out there. But the reality is that we do take on beliefs and energy from other people. You've noticed this already in your everyday life, and you may not attribute it to things like energy in the collective consciousness, but the reality is you do this all the time. Have you ever been out for a cup of tea, for example, with a friend who's very upset? Maybe they've had a really big event in their life. Somebody's betrayed them. They just got some terrible health news, or they just lost their job. Somebody who's really upset or agitated about something. And if you're sharing space with them, it's very easy to get pulled into the energy of what they're feeling. And it could be very challenging in that moment, out of your care and your compassion and your empathy, to feel what they feel. So how many times have you felt what somebody else is feeling? Everyone has. And we do this because we care. But there's also a time where feeling what everyone is feeling is not allowing us to create the best environment for ourselves, the most peaceful place. And when we're in the best, most peaceful place for ourselves, we have a possibility to create the biggest impact in our world, whether it's with our friend over a cup of tea, whether it's with our family, whether it's in our work environment, or whether it's how we put ourselves into the world at large as we observe world events happening. So all of this is a preamble to the idea that peace really does begin inside, and that there's so many things that are happening out in the world that collectively we're waiting for those things to resolve, waiting for those things to settle down, waiting for those people to do something differently, so that if they start behaving differently, wake up, have a different point of view, treat each other with more humanity, and then when they change and I see their behavior is different, their responses are different, then I can feel peaceful. It's creating a massive setup for you. So the big question then becomes, how do I embody peace in this moment, even if all these things around me are unsettled? How can I be a catalyst for a greater experience of peace for myself and for the people and environments very close to me? And as we engage with those very simple questions, we have an opportunity to make a choice in any given moment. For example, if you're in a work environment that's very destabilized, maybe your company is downsizing, maybe people are getting fired, maybe there's a big reorganizational thing going on, it can create a lot of destabilizing. So you can look at the situation and be aware of the fear and the uncertainty that maybe is yours because you don't know if you're the next one to be fired. It could be everyone's unsettled and you're feeling that as well. But then you can also ask this question of yourself: where can I find peace in the middle of this situation? And it could be that you do something as simple as take your lunch outside and go to a park and sit in the park and really choose to breathe deeply in that place and feel peace. And you have removed yourself from the energetic container of the office space to enrich your energetic field, that when after lunch you walk back into that situation, you have a new vibrational field. You have a new point of view. And you then have an opportunity to impact the situation around you because you've supported yourself. It's time for us to see that we can connect with all that we desire and emanate that from us, even if the world isn't the way we see it yet. And as many of you know, the world gets created from our inner game first, and then it becomes a projection out into the world. And you could say, well, I can't control my sense of peace isn't going to impact things across the globe. And it would be said to you in this moment that please don't underestimate yourself as a powerful creator. And the greatest place that you have any impact is within your own life and your own sphere. And you radiate that out into the collective and create more potential and more possibility for everyone. So take a breath in right now. Maybe close your eyes down if you wish to reduce all the sensory input that comes in through your eyes, and just feel yourself for a moment. And tune in and ask yourself honestly and realistically, how peaceful am I really feeling right now? And you may feel very peaceful. And if you feel very peaceful and calm and centered right now, breathe into that and really expand that being your experience, so that you're really consciously and intentionally connected to it, that you really are peaceful in this moment. And that's wonderful. And feel how that impacts all of your interactions with the world, your expectation of your day, your expectation of interactions with other people as you're centered in that peace, anchored in that stability. And it feels comfortable. It feels wonderful. And if you, as you tune into yourself and you say, how am I really feeling right now? And maybe you feel upset or agitated or stressed or worried, whatever term you want to give to it, acknowledge it. Acknowledge that that's how you're feeling without needing to shove it away, because we want to use the evidence of what's there to know how we need to move and what we want to do to change it. Because when we become aware of how we're really feeling it, rather than just feeling it in the background, and you really give a name to it, you've brought your complete awareness to it, and then you have the opportunity to make a new choice around it. Because if you say to yourself, I'm feeling a little stressed today, you have a choice to then say, do I choose to continue to go through my day this way? The reality is you have a choice. You don't have to always extinguish how you feel once you become aware of it. But if you say, I'd really like a more centered, grounded, or less stressed experience, a more peaceful experience, maybe a more hopeful experience, then breathe in again and ask yourself, where can I feel a little bit more hope right now, or a little bit more peace right now? And breathe that in, and notice how, as you open it up to it with just thinking about it, feeling about it, you're really creating an invitation for that. Because in any moment where there's a stressful situation, there is also somewhere in your life the opposite of that. So look for that. Look for that and just create a small opening for what it is that you would choose if you weren't stressed or upset. And the reality is, if you're stressed and upset, you may not be able to make it all the way over to feeling happy and great and inspired and peaceful and on track. Moving from stressful even to feeling neutral is a huge relief. And that creates some movement. And as you say, okay, I'm going to kind of shift into neutral right now. If you stay in a place of observation, the way you see the world begins to change. The way you feel about yourself begins to shift. And these are great little ways to quickly create a different experience that doesn't require all those other experiences that are creating stress or worry and concern to be the dominant theme. You don't have to wait for those things to shift and change in order for you to have a different experience. And it happens through opening up your awareness and making a choice. And it doesn't have to be a big choice. It just needs to be a little choice. If you move from stress to neutral, you've empowered yourself to consciously and intentionally shift how you're feeling, and it's going to feel better. So if then you've moved yourself from neutral and you say, wow, I feel better feeling neutral, I wonder what's the next step for me? Maybe it's opening up to a little bit of hope. So then you say, I wonder how I could feel hopeful in this moment in time right now. And you can work with how you're feeling consciously and intentionally, creating that beautiful foundational vibration for yourself and emanating that out in just your space, your world. But don't underestimate that shift in you and how that has the possibility to ripple out into your family, into your friends, into your work environment, into the people that you respond to at the grocery store. And that ripples. And that also gives you a sense of empowerment, that you have the capacity to be in the place where you are while other people and other experiences are happening around you. So take a deep breath in, receiving the energy of this message this morning. And what's going to happen now is a universal sphere. And as was said in the very beginning, if you know how to do the universal sphere, follow along. If you and do the universal sphere along with us. If you don't know how to do the universal sphere, you can, and if you're in a safe, quiet place, open yourself up to receive. The universal sphere brings in a huge infusion of multidimensional energies. It's coming from what Ishtara, what's called the field of infinite possibilities, that we have a solution for everything in our life, even if we haven't connected with it yet. So you're going to be immersed in an enormous field of possibility that is bigger than what you're aware of right now. And many people, as they experience the universal sphere, do feel more peaceful, calmer. Many people report feeling a lot of love or their heart chakra opening. Open yourself up to what solutions are available through this experience. It just takes a few moments of time. So please follow along or relax and receive, up-leveling the sense of peace in your life. And this is how we impact the World Peace Collective. So beginning now, just take a nice breath in for yourself. Closing your eyes down does reduce all the stimulation from your eyes, which take in and process vast and vast amounts of information every single day. So if you're in the right place to do this, close your eyes down. And allow yourself to just become aware of your breath. And as you do, you become more aware of your body. Open up to the awareness of how you're feeling right now. And notice without observation, without judgment. You can observe without judgment. You can just notice. And you may notice that you have a lot of different feelings and experiences. You could be quite happy and excited about something that's going to happen later today or on the weekend. You could feel some fear and trepidation about other things going on in your life. As humans, the variety of emotions are vast and they're complex, and they coexist all in the same space. So notice all of it. If anything's uncomfortable, breathe into the discomfort. Your energy follows your breath. So as you breathe into any discomfort, opening up to what else is available to you in this moment aside from the uncomfortable feeling. Visualize your energy field, or feel or imagine your energy field getting larger and more expansive, pushing past the boundaries of your physical body with each incoming breath. And there'll be silence for a moment as the connection to the unified field becomes deeper. Moving out into the field of infinite possibilities. Within creation, within all that is, it's impossible to have a problem, an issue, a concern that does not have a solution. So opening up your awareness, your energetic field to this incredible infusion of vibration, entrainment to the unified field yourself. And you can feel it or observe it, imagine it moving through all of the tissues of your body. Out into your energetic field. Expand your energy out and feel what you feel. Shift your awareness to a sense of inner peace, hope, and possibility. Centering in yourself, see yourself as that anchor, the connection, the embodiment of peace and hope. And then receive a new breath in for yourself. Notice how you're feeling in this moment. And really acknowledge how you feel in this moment. Give it some words, whether they're in your head or not. Your awareness and your acknowledgement gives it more form. So if you're feeling neutrality or hope, or excitement or peace, acknowledge that. I'm feeling more peaceful now. And really acknowledging the positive quality of it versus I'm not feeling stressed anymore. I am feeling more relaxed. I feel positive. I feel enlivened. And allow your focus to really rest there and focus on that choice. And then if you've closed your eyes down, take another breath in and receive it, feel your physical body, and you can open your eyes to rejoin our time together here. And as Holly, I'm shifting out of Ishtara mode. Thank you so much for those of you who are here. This has, of course, gone on a little bit longer than I anticipated. Thank you so much for being here. If you have felt anything during this experience, you're welcome to write it in the chat, or this will be posted on the Universal Sphere page here. And you can, if you're listening to this later, you'll get the same benefit from it as being here in real time. So please, I'd love to hear what your experience was. And I loved what Ishtara had to say. And if you have any feedback, it would be so great. And we're planning on doing this every Wednesday, World Peace Wednesday, so that we can begin vibrating a greater sense of empowered peace within ourselves and create literally a new ripple out into the world as a result of that. So thank you again so much for being here. And we hope you have a really peace-filled day and a sense of hope and a sense of empowerment for yourself, that you really are a catalyst for change, as we all are. And when we see ourselves that way, it creates so much energy toward creating the world that we all desire and we're all dreaming about. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you next Wednesday.